In this video, we'll be talking about the Sub-Phylum Cephalochordata. In the previous videos, we have talked about the diagnostic features of chordates, the Sub-Phylum Hemichordata or the phylum Hemichordata, the Sub-Phylum Urochordata. So in this video, we'll be talking about the Sub-Phylum Cephalochordata. We have mentioned the diagnostic features of chordates, which means we'll be expecting cephalochordates to also have similar diagnostic features, just like the other chordates, but there will be a distinctive characteristics that separates them from other group of chordates. And what are the things that we can see in a particular animal to say this particular animal belongs to Sub-Phylum Cephalochordata. And also in this video, we'll be talking about the biology of representative cephalochordates, which is branchiostoma. You understand? So let us proceed. With about 25 species inhabiting shallow tropical and temperate ocean, Cephalochordata is a very small group of animal kingdom. They are known as lancelets from the Greek word, that is, they are pointed at both ends. They have pointed end, you understand? And cephalochordates are small. They are small. That's the first thing you have to note. They are eel-like, and when something is eel-like, it means they are slender. You understand? They are elongated. I get me now. And they spend most of their time buried in the sand. I get me now. So, however, because of their remarkable morphology, they have proved crucial in understanding the morphology and evolution of chordates in general, including the vertebrates. And the reason why we can use this evolutionary trend of cephalochordates to understand the evolution of vertebrates is because they are the closest group to the Sub-Phylum Vertebrata. I get me now. So we can say they are the intermediate between invertebrates and vertebrates. I get me now. So this is how they look like. Like I said, they are what? They are elongated. If you see very well, they are what? They are elongated. And from here we can see that the ends are pointed. They are pointed at what? They are pointed anteriorly and they are pointed posteriorly. I get me now. That is where they got their name lancelets. I get me now. So this is how they look like. Now let us continue talking about their general biology. Now, cephalochordates have all typical chordate features, unlike urochordates, in which the adults we can find only the what? The notochord at the tail and the what? And the pharyngeal slits. In this, we can find all the typical chordate features, including the notochord, the nerve cord, the pharyngeal slit, the post-anal tail, and the endostyle. And the dorsal nerve cord is supported by a muscularized rod, or the notochord. So the dorsal nerve cord is supported by the what? By the notochord. The pharynx, it is perforated and it have about 100 pharyngeal slits. Now I'm going to show you an image showing the what? Showing the pharyngeal slits. Now they use these pharyngeal slits to what? To strain food particles out of the water. Please, I want you to know this. They use pharyngeal slits to strain food particles out of the water. Now the musculature of the body divides up to V-shaped block or myomes. Excuse me. Now remember I mentioned something like this in myomes in the what? In the urochordates. I mentioned something like a myomes, and let me show you. Look at this, something like this line that look like a V in their body. If I should zoom it in well, we can see it well. So these are what? These are myomes block. So look at it. They are musculature. I think I show you something like that. I'm still going to show you in the last slide. You get me now. Now, the brain and the sense organ of cephalochordates is poorly developed, and they are no true vertebrae. Even though the notochord persists, but the notochord does not differentiate into what? Into the vertebral column. I get me now. Now, the Amphioxus, which are lancelets or the cephalochordates, they can be eaten by humans or by domestic animals, and they are important food items in Asia where they are commercially invested. So we have also seen the economic importance of cephalochordates, which means they can be eaten. I get it. They can be eaten as well. They can serve as a source of food to humans and other animals. Now, This is how they look like again. Look at the real structure of them, the real image of them. If you notice very well, look at this end, it is pointed. Look at this end, it is pointed. So they are pointed anterior posteriorly. That is where they got their name, which is lancelets. I get them now, Amphioxus. So this is how they look like, and most time they are buried in the sand. They are found buried in the sand. So if you look at this sand now, you see that this sand consists of what? A loosely sand particles. I will tell you about their movement. How do they move? I'll tell you about that one later. Now, let us proceed to their general characteristic of cephalochordates. They are fish-like and they have a head which is useful for burrowing and swimming. They have a head which is used for burrowing and swimming. Now, from the word cephalo, cephalization, which means head. So we can see that it is this group of animals that we first see a traces of head, even though they do not have a true head, but it has a traces of head, because here I can easily differentiate the head from the tail. You understand? So they are cephalochordates, cephalization, head, section of head. You understand? So they show tail, so they have head and they have tail, but appendages are absent, which means they do not have leg. Are you getting me now? Now, dorsal, caudal, and ventral fins are present, and the body will show one cell thick, non-ciliated epidermis, dermis, connective tissue, striated muscle, and parietal peritoneum. So this is what the body shows: a one cell thick non-ciliated epidermis, which means their epidermis is non-ciliated. They have dermis, they have connective tissue, they have striated muscles, and they have parietal peritoneum, because they are a group of animals that are very, very close to vertebrata. You understand? They have no exoskeleton. There is nothing like exoskeleton, and the notochord extend from anterior end to the posterior end, and that is the reason why they are close group to vertebrates, because just like us as well, your vertebral column extend from the back of your neck to the what? To the lower back, to the caudal region. So it extends something like anterior posteriorly. So them too, the notochord extend anterior posteriorly, and enterocoelic coelom is present. They have a coelom. They are coelomic. You understand? They have a true body cavity. And the alimentary canal is long. It includes a large pharynx with many pharyngeal slits. Remember I told you that pharyngeal slit is what? It is used for sorting out food particles. So they have a large pharynx and they have a pharyngeal slit. So we can say they exhibit ciliary mode of feeding. Please, you have to know that very well. They exhibit what? Ciliary mode of feeding. And gills perform respiration apart from what? Apart from the function that it performs for what? For feeding. You understand? Now, circulatory system is closed and they have no hearts. That is one of their unique characteristics. They have no what? They have no hearts. So you have to note that they have no hearts and they have no respiratory pigments. They have no respiratory pigments and they have no what? They have no hearts. The hepatic portal system is present. That is, they have something like a liver. Are you getting me now? Excretory system showed a pair of protonephrida and solenocytes, and they have no brain. Brain is not present, but they possess true cerebral and several spinal nerves. Now, they exhibit sexual reproduction. That is very, very important. They exhibit sexual reproduction, and sexes are separate. You have to know that sexes are separate, which means they are not hermaphrodites. They are monoecious. They are dioecious rather. So they are not hermaphrodites. Asexual reproduction never occurs, and fertilization is external in this group of animals. So let us see some characteristics. So this is how they look like. They remain buried in the sand, all their body, except for the what? Except for the anterior part of them that remain outside of the water. And what they use it for? Basically for feeding. So I've said the general characteristics. So let me just describe it again for you here. They have a oral root with tentacles. They have their mouth. Look at it. They have their mouth, and they have the anus, which means the digestive system is complete. They have a complete digestive system that starts from the what? That starts from the mouth and end at the anus. They have a pharyngeal slit, and pharyngeal slit is they have about 100 slits in the pharynx. The pharynx has about 100 slits. They have a notochord that extend anterior posteriorly, and they have a dorsal hollow nerve cord, which makes it to be what? To be similar to that of the Sub-Phylum vertebrata, because Sub-Phylum vertebrata also have a dorsal holotubular nerve cord. I get me now. They have a segmental muscles, also known as what? Also known as myomes. Also known as myomes. I think I've shown you something like that before. That looks like a V. Can you see? A V shaped. I think I showed you that one before. And they have an intestine where digestion occurs. You understand? And excretion occurs at the what? At the anus. The anus is found pre to the tail, like before the tail. It is found before the tail, not after the tail, or not on the tail. So it is found before the tail. So this is where the anus is located. So let us proceed to what? To the characteristic that makes us know that okay, well, this one is cephalochordate and this one is not cephalochordate. So now the sub-phylum cephalochordates include, so this is the classification of cephalochordates, include this a single class, just one. Remember I told you that they are small animals, they are a small group of animals, they are not much. They have one class which is Leptocardi and a single family which is Brachiostomidae. So they have one class, Leptocardi, a single family which is Brachiostomidae, and they have only two genera, which is Branchiostoma and Asymmetron. So these are the two this thing that they have. I get me now. So in some textbook you see them calling it epignocytis. Epignocytis. So in some textbook like that, but I prefer the two genera, which is Branchiostoma and the what and the Asymmetron. Now the characteristic and body features of cephalochordates can be described under the following heads. Now the first one is chordate features of cephalochordates. What are the things that they possess to make us know that they are chordates? The first one is dorsal tubular nerve cord. The second one is a long notochord that extend anterior posteriorly. The third one is pharyngeal slits. And the fourth one is post-anal tail. The next one is the liver diverticulum, hepatic portal system, the myotomes or the myomes, which are used for locomotion, and the presence of dorsal caudal ventral fins. So these are the chordate features of cephalochordates, the things that they possess to make us know that they are what? They are chordates. You understand? Amphioxus, they are chordates. So the first one I mentioned is the dorsal tubular nerve cord, the notochord that extend anterior posteriorly, the gill slit, the postanal tail, the diverticulum, hepatic portal system, myotomes which is used for locomotion, and dorsal caudal fin. Now, what are now the primitive features of cephalochordates? The thing that they possess that is very, very primitive, that makes us doubt that are they chordates or they are not chordates. The first one is the excretory system, which contains protonephrida. Remember, this protonephrida is found in, I think they are found in annelids. Annelids are invertebrates. They are not even chordates. They are now possessing, cephalochordates are now possessing some characteristics that are similar to the one of annelids. So it's a primitive features. And the presence of selenocytes is not reported in any chordates except for Amphioxus, except for cephalochordates. I get me now. And the selenocytes are always associated with nephridium. You know, nephrida is found mostly in what? Mostly in what's the name? Mostly in worms, helminths. You understand? Helminths, platyhelminths, nematohelminths, annelida. You understand? All these worms. So that is where we usually find nephridium. I get me now. And they do not have heart and kidney. They do not possess heart and they do not have kidney. This is a very unique characteristic of them. They do not have heart and do not have kidney. And there is no paired limb or paired fins. They don't have working legs. And there is absence of distinct head. Their head is fused with the body. They have head, but the head is fused with the body. Are you getting me now? And they do not have a developed sense organ, and the gonads is without gonoducts. So these are the characteristics that they possess that make us think, okay, these characteristics are primitive. They have primitive characteristics as a what? As a cephalochordates. You understand? Now, let's proceed. Now, these are the special characters of cephalochordates. The first one is ciliary mode of feeding. That is very, very important. You have to know that they possess ciliary mode of feeding. The oral wood is well developed for mode of feeding because it is armed with tentacles. I think I showed you the tentacles the other time. So it is armed with tentacles, and the tentacles are ciliated. And since it is ciliated, they have what? They beat their cilia. Once they beat their cilia, they use it for what? Creating water currents. In the creation of water currents, then they use it for taking in water, which passes through the atrium, then go out through the atrial port, which I will talk about in the digestion. You understand? I will talk about it in the digestion. So this is the special characteristic of them. It is not found in other this thing. It is found in cephalochordates. ciliary mode of feeding. So it is very, very important for you to note that. Now, I've mentioned this before. Now, look at this. This is it. This is the oral wood. This is their head. All the remaining of the body is buried in the sand. All of them are buried in the sand, and they have the what? They have the head with tentacles and the mouth. Also, the mouth is found in the. So this is water. This is the water body, and this is the body is the sand. So they are buried. They are buried in the sand. The pharyngeal slit is perforated with about 100 perforation. They have the atrium. Look at the atrium. That is where the water flows in. They have the arthropod. That is where the water flows out. They have the digestive tract or the intestine, which is they have the intestine. They have the segmental muscle, which is the myomes. I told that they are V-shaped. I've mentioned that before. They have the anus, where excretory product is passed out, and they have the post-anal tail. They have the tail that is found after the anus. You understand? That is found after the anus. So what they do is that they create a feeding current, even though I'm going to explain the digestion again in the biology of branchiostome. They create a feeding current with their what? With their tentacles. Once they create the feeding current, the water flows into their body, and they use the pharyngeal slits to what? To separate food materials. Once they separate the food materials, what is going to happen then? Once these food materials have been separated, they are going to use the endostyle. The endostyle is going to produce a mucus, and once the mucus has been produced, what is going to happen is that what? It is going to entangle the food particle that has been separated by the pharyngeal slits. You understand? So it is going to entangle it. Once it is entangled, it is taken into the what? Into the intestine, where digestion occurs, and excreted material pass through the what? Pass through the anus. But as the water flow in through the atrium, it flows out through the arthropod. So this one is in, this one is what? This one is out, which we will talk about in the what? In the digestion. So let us proceed. Now, this is what I'm trying to explain. So they feed on what? They feed on small planktonic organisms such as bacteria, fungi, diatoms, zooplankton, and they also take in detritus. You understand? Little is known about the diet of lancelets. You have to know that. But apparently, we have to know that they possess an oral cirri. Oral cirri. Now, this oral cirri consists of a thin tentacle-like strand that is hung in front of the mouth, and it acts as sensory devices which locate that okay, there is food here. Once they notice that there is food, what is going to happen is that they are going to create a feeding current using their cilia. They beat their cilia on the tentacle. Cilia reaction. Once they beat their cilia, once the cilia has been beaten, what is going to happen is that what? They are going to, water is going to flow through the what? Into the mouth, then enters into the atrium. Once it enters into the atrium, the pharyngeal slit sheath, it acts as a what? It acts as a filter. It filters the food. So the food particles that is filtered, let me say in red, we have food particles that have been filtered. There is now an endostyle. The endostyle will now produce a mucus. A mucus will be produced. You know what a mucus is? Something like your normal mucus, you understand? So once the mucus has been produced, it is going to entangle the food particles that has been what? That has been taken in. So the food particles is going into the what? Into the intestine, where digestion occurs. So once digestion occurs, it is going to flow out through the what? Through the arthropod. You understand? They also have esophagus. That after the pharyngeal slits, they have the esophagus before it goes into the what? Before it goes into the intestine. So the alimentary canal is straight, and it extends from the what? From the mouth to the anus. So they have a complete digestive system. You understand? And they have a mid-diverticulum. And the mid-diverticulum is the what? Is the intestine. That is where digestion occurs. So this is just the feeding and digestion. So you just have to note what they feed on, which is bacteria, fungi, diatoms, zooplanktons, and other detritus like that. And they also feed on phytoplanktons as well, which is plants, plantkins. So they also feed on those ones as well. So you have to know that they feed by ciliary reaction. By what? By beating the cilia on the what? On the oral wood. You understand? So this is all about their digestion, which I've explained now. The contraction, atrial contraction, that is atrium, where the this thing flows in, and the arthropod, where it flows out. I think I've explained all that, right? Now, so this is, can you see? Then the water enters an atrium, and it flows out through the arthropod. Are you getting me now? So that is how they feed. That is just this thing that they feed. This is just the write up about it. What I'm expected to do is just the explanation. So I'm trying to like explain to you how everything goes like that. So let's talk about their movements. The characteristic attitude of Amphioxus is that they remain buried in the sand. If they are undisturbed, they are always in the sand. But if they are washed away in the surface, they quickly swim in a serpentine movement. And once they swim like this, like they swim like this, so that they can they can quickly enter into the sand. So let us say the sand is somewhere around there. So they swim in the serpentine movement and they enter into the sand. And once they enter into the sand, either using their head or their tail first, they can use any of the two. But once they enter into the sand, they now remove their head. So it is only their head that you will see outside. The remaining of the body is usually found inside of the inside of the sand. So they move rapidly in a loosely packed sand. You see them, they enter easily, but they remove slowly in a closely packed sand. So that is how their movement is. They don't really move unless they are being disturbed. So let us talk about their visual system. How do they see? They have 4 known light sensing structure, and this sensing structure is Joseph cells. You see these Joseph cells, it bears a photoreceptor, and this photoreceptor consists of a band of microvilli. Now this microvilli now bears what we know as opsin melanopsin. So these are what? These are photoreceptor. Another thing is that they bears AC organ. AC organ is also a organ that consists of photoreceptor surrounded by microvilli, and also bears melanopsin, but not opsin melanopsin. It bears melanopsin. Understand? Only melanopsin. That is what it bears. So they also have unpaired anterior eye and the lamellar body. All of this, they use it for what? They use it for photoreceptor, not for image formation. They cannot form image. They can only be used for what? For photoreception. Are you getting me now? So in the reproduction, the sexes are separate. The gonad lies on either wall of the pharyngeal slit, which opens directly into the atrium, right? And the fertilization is external. The eggs are not yolky, so it develops directly into larva done in reproduction. So you have to know that they are what? The sexes are separate. They are not hermaphrodites, and they cannot undergo asexual reproduction. No asexual reproduction for them. So you understand? So other system. Let's talk about other system in their body. They have no respiratory system. Breathing is solely through their skin. But it's despite the fact that they have no respiratory system, if any respiration should occur, it occurs in the gill slits or the gills. So they use gills for what? For respiration, even though the gill slit is solely for feeding. I already mentioned it. That the gill slit is for feeding. So the circulatory system, in their circulatory system, the circulatory system does not resemble that of primitive fish. You understand? It is much more simpler because it have no heart. There are no blood cells. There are no hemoglobin because they do not possess what? They do not possess respiratory pigments. So they have no hemoglobin, they have no cyanoglobin or anything like that. Are you getting me now? So unlike invertebrates, they have they are separate numerous gonads without gonoducts. They have no gonoducts. The excretory system consists of segmented kidney containing protonephrida instead of nephron. They do not have nephron, they have protonephrida, and the protonephrida is associated with solenocytes. You have to know that solenocyte, which is also a what? Which is a flame cell. Yes, a flame cell. So that's one of their primitive characteristics. Nephron, instead of nephron, they don't have nephron, they have protonephrida. You understand? They have protonephrida, which consists of flame cell. Solenocyte. So whenever you hear solenocyte, it's known as flame cell. You understand? So in common with vertebrates, lancelets have hollow nerve cord running along their back from anterior to their posterior. Pharyngeal slits, they have tail that run past the anus, and also like vertebrates, the muscles are arranged in band, known as what? Known as the myomes. I think I've mentioned this several times. So, like I said, the respiration occurs by what? By pharyngeal slits. If respiration should occur at all, it occurs by pharyngeal slits. I get me now. So, but pharyngeal slit is what? Is mainly for feeding. I get me. So this is their structure. This is their head that is found outside. This is the buccal cirri that consists of what? That consists of cilia. You understand? And this is velum. This is pharynx. This is pharyngeal slits. This is ceca, and this is gonads that consist of no gonadoct. This is myotome block or myomes. This is atriopore, where the this thing flows outside, where water flows outside. The atrium is found somewhere around here, and the atriopore is found here. You understand? And they have a ventral fin for swimming. You understand? And look at it, the dorsal nerve cord. They have dorsal nerve cord and the notochord, which runs anterior posteriorly. They have a dorsal fin and they have a caudal fin. So you have to know that they have ventral fin, dorsal fin, and caudal fin. That is resembling the what? The one of fishes. And they have fin rays. I get it now. They have fin rays. But of all these things that you have seen, you will see that it has no what? It has no heart. So they are heartless. Let us say heartless. They are heartless. You understand? They have eye spots, and in these eye spots we have Joseph cells, we have SC cells, we have ventral ventral eyes, and the last one what I mentioned. So these are the things that they possess. You understand? And this is something like the myome that I was talking about. This one is found in tuna fish. So look at it. It is like V-shaped. Look at it, like V-shaped. So the myomes I was talking about, and band of muscles that is found. So this is how it is found in them too. The myotome blocks. Understand? Look at it. It is found like a V-shaped. So that is all about the biology of branchiostome, which is a representative of the phylum Cephalochordates. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe, and follow for more. In the next video, we'll be talking about the evolution of jaw. I'm talking about the biology of the lamprey. So I'll be talking about the introduction to vertebrates, evolution, the introduction to vertebrates, the agnatans, which is the lamprey, and the genatostome. How can we differentiate agnatans, which is jawless vertebrate, from the genatostome, which is the jawed vertebrates? So that is what we are going to be talking about strictly in the very video. So thank you so much for listening.